Hello Gemini, and welcome to my channel Inspiring Life Changes. My name's Colette and I'm here today to do a reading for all you Geminis that are Sun, Moon, Venus and Rising. If you don't know where those placements are in your astrological chart, I will be putting a free link in the description box down below so that you can go and check that out for yourself. It's a link that will take you directly to a site where you can put in your information and you'll be able to get a chart for your natal planets, and you'll have more understanding of where your moon, your Venus and your rising are. Because this Gemini is just a general reading, it does mean that you might find more information and insights actually in your other placements as well, your moon, Venus and rising. You may find that there's more answers within those signs than there is actually within this actual reading, because this is for sun sign as well. And also people who have maybe a lot of air in their chart or a lot of Gemini in their chart, this may also resonate with yourselves. You may find that this could be giving you some messages. Plus, I know that there are and will be Gemini cross-watchers out there. And so I just want to let you know that the energy for yourselves, Gemini cross-watchers, could be, for those of you interested in a Gemini or somebody who you've been in a relationship with or you are in a relationship with, you could find that these cards and the messages within this reading could actually have more of a truth within them for yourself. So you may find yourself listening and thinking, oh, that sounds more like my situation, and that could well be the case because the energies can be swapped over as well. So we start your reading today, Gemini. At the heart of your reading we have the Page of Pentacles. And the Page of Pentacles, all the pages are very kind of new energy. And this is saying to me that you're planning something at the moment. You're planning your future. You're looking into it and thinking, now if I plant all these little seeds here, I will be able to enjoy what's going to happen. So now, very much in your present, is when you're going to be able to create what you want to experience, shall we say, in your future, because your past becomes your future and your future becomes, or your past becomes your present and your present becomes your future. I'll get it round the right way. He's holding this coin here in his hand, and this is kind of him saying, I know the value of this, I know that this is worthwhile, and I know that I too am worthwhile. And it's very heart-centered energy for me as well, because it's all very green. There's a lot of greenery here as well. So I feel as though it's kind of relating, Gemini, to a situation to do with the growth of your heart in some way, the growth of your like planting seeds for a future. It can be to do with a business, it can be to do with a relationship, it can be family, it can be friends. But it's a situation where you're having to kind of value things on a different level. And I always feel that it has got something to do with the heart as well, because he's holding it very close to his chest too. If you look there, he's kind of holding it right over his heart chakra energy there. And it's also very green as well, and the green kind of relates to the heart energy, the energy of the heart, which is why we always feel so good when we're out in nature, and why we always feel refreshed after coming back in from being outside, like we've had a boost of energy. And there may also be a message there for you within that. But it's covered today, Gemini, by the Queen of Cups, sorry, the Queen of Water. So this is saying, because this is your challenge, this is saying to me here, I also get the feeling that somehow it's kind of watering. This is watering all of this as well. That's kind of what came up for me when I first saw these two cards together. I thought, oh, how very kind of symbiotic, I suppose they are, how they kind of go really well together, like the water just feeds into the ground and helps everything to grow. But I get the feeling that this is you needing to become like this Queen of Cups, needing to be in your emotions, kind of sitting in your emotions. And you yourselves, Gemini, being an air sign, may find this quite tricky, because emotions and kind of the logical thinking brain side of things don't necessarily go hand in hand. But I will say that we do have Mercury going retrograde in Pisces on the 17th of February, right up until I think it's the 10th of March when it comes out. So it's about 3 weeks in all. And so you may find that there's going to be a period of time where you're going to be very much kind of sunk in your emotions, because Mercury being your ruling sign and being of the mind itself, and very kind of, Mercury's very quick thinking, it's like Quicksilver. Mercury, if you think of it, it's constantly moving, changing energy. It's also the messenger of the gods. And so it's kind of staying in Pisces, which is the dreamy kind of emotional, kind of just expanding out energy. Pisces, it's kind of like the ocean itself, really. It's very nebulous, it's very kind of intuitive, instinctive, all the water signs. And this could relate to the water signs that you may know as well, Scorpio, Pisces and Cancer. But I get the feeling that this is actually more about you kind of sinking into your emotions. But this is your challenge. Somehow you need to kind of tap into this energy over these 3 weeks and really kind of find yourself in your own emotions. It's your emotions that are going to work for you, not your logical thinking mind. And as I was saying, because you are more that way inclined, you may find it quite tricky with this energy. And you may find, because you've got the Hermit card here as well, so you may find you're feeling kind of, I don't think so much isolated, but kind of, like if you see here, this little face, and I kind of feel that you're going to be almost like in two worlds, like a foot in both. And it could be that your own very psychic, intuitive kind of understanding of things is going to come to the forefront here as well. And you may find that a little bit alarming too, because this is about trusting your instincts and your feelings and your own intuition. And you know what you know. But because you're a Gemini, you like to kind of, it has to make sense. It has to be logical. It has to have a reason. And that may not be the case. It may not be the case at all. And you may need to kind of look, because you've got all these keys here as well. And I kind of feel that this is the answer. This is the key. The key is found within your emotions and within your heart. So it's about opening. I feel it's kind of about opening up your heart energy. But you may not want to do that at this time as well, because the Hermit card is kind of talking about becoming reclusive and wanting to hide away and kind of just peeking out into the world every now and again and seeing what's going on, and then kind of retreating back into your own little world in a way, your kind of world of I feel more to do with this card, your kind of plans and your future and your looking into where you want to be and where you want to go, what you want to achieve, how you're going to achieve it. So that's the energy that I feel for you at this time, at the very heart of your reading, Gemini. And what we have in your head and what you're aware of at the moment with the Ten of Cups is, I feel, a situation which could have a lot to do with this as well. This could also be why you're kind of needing to go into your emotions and find the key to your heart for yourself. Because this is talking to me about a situation, Gemini, of where you thought that what you had with somebody was a perfect relationship, shall we say. The Ten of Cups up the right way is the kind of perfect, it's a soulmate, it's the kind of I've found you, you're the one I want to be with, and kind of realization. But because of the fact that it's in reverse here, I get a strong feeling that this is saying that somebody no longer recognizes the person that they're with. Almost like somebody's outgrown them. That's the feeling I get, that something has outgrown the other person here. And maybe that's what these plans are about as well. Somebody's making plans to move ahead without somebody. You might have told somebody recently, Gemini, that that's what you're thinking about doing, or you may just be in that stage of kind of working out how you're going to go about doing that. But it's come out with a High Priestess. And the High Priestess to me is very kind of this energy again, which is your challenge. A kind of really kind of trusting your own instinct. And I also get the feeling of this Hermit card as well. If you see, both of these are kind of looking kind of half in and half out of the, almost like half in, half out, this kind of psychic, intuitive realm, dream world, kind of the subconscious realm in a way, almost like it's taking over. But this is where your answers lie. This is where your answers lie, very much within this energy of your own instinctual understanding and knowing of something. And that's what this card is all about, especially the High Priestess. She holds secrets to the inner realm. And it's very much, for me, very much the Pisces card. It's kind of saying, like, you know, come with me and I'll show you things that you haven't seen. I can show you a whole different world. There's another layer to what you see and what you believe and what you think is real. But you may be resistant to it. Possibly also because of this energy here as well. And also maybe there's something that's happened where you are trusting your instincts, Gemini. This could be for some of you as well. That you're kind of outgrowing this relationship because one of you has literally become a lot more aware of their inner world, in that sense. Of their psychic ability as well, shall we say. Of their understanding somebody else's or other people's in general. Kind of when you're around other people, you can pick up on other people's feelings, other people's what they're going to do next, kind of thing. Almost kind of like an understanding on a totally different realm, on a like it's coming in from somewhere else and you don't quite know how or where it's coming from. But there's also a kind of very childlike look to this card as well. So I get the feeling that this could also be something that's quite new to some of you Geminis as well. Learning to trust it, especially. It may have been something that you've always had, and I think we all always have had this energy within us, this kind of ability to be kind of clairvoyant or clairsentient or clairaudient or one of the clairs. But also this kind of just this knowing, this kind of real knowing, this empathic. And I think this is kind of what this is bringing out as well, this kind of empathic energy within you, particularly during the next 3 weeks, with Mercury going retrograde. As I was saying, your ruling planet going retrograde for 3 weeks in Pisces. It's going to bring kind of, I feel, kind of a confusion, but at the same time a kind of understanding of something on a deeper level about yourself. You're going to kind of discover something about yourself on a deeper level, but it's going to be through the kind of confusion of going through this retrograde. But what's underneath and what is in your subconscious at the moment is this feeling of having to do battle with yourself, really. The Five of Wands, or the Five of Fire, is saying to me that there is this, you have doubts and you have fears and you have worries and you have this kind of non-belief in yourself. And I feel that that's got something to do with it. It's almost like you're saying, but it can't be me. Why is it me? How can that be? Why should I be able to do this? Why, you know, and it's like, is it right? Should I? Is it wrong? Am I going mad? That kind of energy, that kind of, you know, what will people think? What will people say? And there's a reason also why I'm saying that, but I will get to that in a bit. But it's come out with the Seven of Fire, which actually I could actually elaborate on that right now as well, because the Seven of Fire is about kind of making a stance and standing up and kind of saying, look, this is me, this is who I am. And there may be elements here like you kind of know that you've got to do this, you kind of realize on some level, Gemini, that you've got to make a stand and you've got to kind of say, this is who I am, this is who I am becoming, this is the inner me. Again, it's a unicorn, it's kind of something that's unique, it's something that's mythical and of the realm of the imagination. And I kind of get the feeling, Gemini, that this is where you're going to be going for a while, is into this realm of imagination. And there may be a lot of creativity that wants to come out of you that you're kind of restricting and holding back because you're not having enough faith in yourself or enough trust in yourself here. And there's also this Devil card as well, which is why I feel that there is these fears about what other people are going to think and what other people are going to say, or will you be seen as kind of some weird kind of entity here. But the Devil, for me, is all about holding ourselves in our own fears, because he holds his pipes here and he's kind of, these two human beings down here are kind of dancing to his tune. And so you may feel as though you're kind of needing to release yourself from outside pressure, from what society has kind of molded you into in some way, Gemini, which you're beginning, I feel, to wake up from. You're beginning to feel as though you're no longer that person that was kind of molded and kind of steered in one direction, kind of you know, when you went down one path you got approval or you got disapproval, so you kind of adjust yourself to kind of fit into the stream of what people kind of expected of you. And that's also what this card is about as well, is kind of freeing ourselves from this energy, from this kind of entrapment of our own, now our own, because we've taken on board other people's beliefs and other people's kind of restrictions of themselves as well. Because this is what happens as we grow up. We're kind of taught how to, you know, if we behave a certain way, then we get like rewarded, and if we do something that goes against that, then we get disapproval, we get punishment, we get all those things that are saying to us, no, you're wrong. And so I kind of feel that that's got a part to play in this as well. And it's also come out, interestingly enough, with the High Priestess again as well. So I feel on some level, Gemini, that what's happening here is almost like you're connecting with something from your past. because this is inner realm. This is about going down the stairs. And today for me, this is about you kind of going back into your, I don't know whether it's your childhood or, but almost like something that you recognize from a earlier time in your life of you being connected with, and almost like you became disconnected with it. And again, I feel it's because you were kind of tuned out of it by other people's kind of stance on things. And so now it's making you kind of not trust your own understanding of it. And it's lastly, the card here in your subconscious it's come out with here is the Seven of Swords, Gemini. And the Swords energy is all about the kind of mental realm. It's all about your logical thinking kind of process, shall we say. And so in this card, what is happening here is there's a kind of shadow energy here, and I feel that this is what you're kind of going to be dealing with on some level. It is your own shadow, Gemini, your shadow self, which you feel is kind of rising up. And I get the impression again that this is to do with these high priestess energies, almost like you're being awoken somehow to something that you are finding quite difficult to kind of accept as a part of yourself, and you're seeing it, Gemini, as something that's dark and kind of something that's wrong. Something that's wrong. It's almost like you're feeling like you have to protect yourself from it. That you can't allow that side of yourself, if you like. It's kind of like you want to keep it hidden. You want to kind of keep it in the dark. That's the energy that I'm getting from this. It's often a card, it could be seen as a card of kind of lies and deceit, and but I kind of get the feeling that you're getting to the stage here, Gemini, where it's kind of, you've had to do this for so long now that you're kind of feeling that you can't do it anymore. That you just can't do that. You just can't keep playing that role. You can't keep going over that same ground. You can't keep pretending in many ways that you're kind of, you know, something other than this kind of energy. And making a stance and standing up for yourself and saying, look, you know, this is who I am. If you don't like it, then there's not a lot I can do about it. You know, if you don't like it, then that is kind of your problem. It's not my problem anymore. I'm not going to take responsibility for it anymore. I'm not going to own it as if it's my problem anymore. And I feel, Gemini, that's kind of where you're getting to. I don't think you've got there yet, but I feel as though that's where you're kind of getting to, and that's where the energies are kind of pushing you. But it's also giving you a sense of kind of confusion. The moon often talks of confusion, but also a sense of kind of things not being revealed. And again, I think that this is to do with this card here. A sense that you're kind of having to keep things hidden. You are having to kind of keep things in the dark. That's how you're kind of feeling about it. That as of yet, you haven't quite faced it. You haven't quite come out and said kind of like, you know, this is who I am. This is what I'm about. So the moon is a time of, this is leaving. It is a leaving energy in the sense that it's moving away. It's been around for a while. It's a major arcana. So it's kind of saying that there could have been a period of time where you have felt as though you've been very much, I kind of want to say isolated. Again, maybe that's to do with this Hermit card as well. But I think isolated in the sense of you feeling as though you don't fit in, and almost like you're having to kind of constantly be on alert for how you come across, maybe Gemini as well. You know, am I saying the right thing? Am I doing the right thing? Am I giving too much away? I just get that kind of feeling somehow that there's this situation where you've had to kind of, again, protect. You feel as though you've had to protect this part of yourself. And it's come out with the 10 of Earth in reverse. And for me, this is kind of saying that, you know, you've made lots of achievements, Gemini. You've kind of played the game. You've done what other people have wanted you to do. You've kind of lived in the material world, shall we say. You've kind of achieved all of this. And it's all the big chest of money down here, and all these pentacles kind of represent the achievements. And if this was up the right way, I would say that, you know, you're very happy with that. But because it's in reverse, and for me, this card always looks as though she's got this kind of look on her face of like, well, okay, I've done all this, but now what? I'm still kind of, you know, I'm kind of not fully satisfied. It's like there's something missing. It's like there's something else. I'm sure there's something more to all of this, but I'm not quite sure what it is. Kind of energy, Gemini. It's kind of sense of like, right, yeah, okay, I've got all this. I've got all this. I've got a beautiful house. I've got a great car. I've got a great family. Got great kids. I can go on lovely holidays. All that kind of thing, you know. Money in the bank. Safe, secure job. But there's something that's missing. There's something that's missing. There's something within you that you feel is missing within your life. That it's no longer completely kind of satisfactory. It's no longer kind of feeding your soul on that level. Or maybe you're kind of waking up to needing to feed your soul, and you're realizing that this is not it. That there's got to be more. Gemini, that's the kind of feeling that I'm getting from these cards today, because we also have the 7 of Cups here. And the 7 of Cups, again, is about confusion. It's about kind of all these things being offered to Psyche down here. And Psyche kind of saying, but I know what I want, and it isn't any of those. I've got all this, you know. I've done all this. I've been here. I've achieved all this. I've, you know, anything that you give me that in those cups, I can do it myself. I can go and get that myself. But what I can't get is this this understanding of a deeper love, a deeper sense of love, maybe, Gemini. Or just this emptiness, this kind of, again, like both of these are on their knees. It's almost like they're praying to me. It's almost like they get to the point of like, well, she really does look like Psyche is literally praying, but there's almost a kind of energy of this here as well. Like, please just kind of give me some answers. Give me some answers. I need some answers. I need the key. I need the key to my happiness. Because I kind of get the feeling that there is an unhappy energy around this situation at the moment, Gemini. And you literally have, after the 7 of Cups here, I'll just kind of put these in order so I don't get confused myself. There we go. You literally have the Hierophant, who for me is kind of saying there is more to life. There is more to life. And it's kind of saying, what is it that you really do want from life? The Hierophant in this card is also the wounded healer. So it is kind of, for me, it's an energy of kind of the higher mind, the higher learning, the connection with the divine, but not necessarily through not necessarily through the kind of conventional pathways, shall we say. This is about your connection. This is about your own understanding of it. How do you connect with the divine in you? How do you find that in yourself? And that for me is also what this light is about here. It's kind of showing the way, pointing the way, saying it's up there. Kind of, you know, the light. Look for the light within. Find your light within. And the scroll for me also kind of represents things that you are yet to learn. Kind of things that are, again, I get this feeling of things that are hidden, that are secret, especially with the moon and the High Priestess coming out in your reading, and the High Priestess coming out twice as well. I get the feeling of things that you are really going to start learning things on a deeper level, a much deeper level of understanding, on a very kind of spiritual basis. Again, maybe tuning into your own kind of psychic awareness, your own understanding of how things what is it I'm getting here? That how things the way that you see things is not necessarily how they actually are. Like an awakening, it's just like an awakening. That's what I keep getting. It's like an awakening. It's like suddenly seeing through the veil and realizing that things are not as you perceived them, Gemini. Like you're waking from a deep dream, a deep confusion. And almost like this could well be seen as your inner guide as well. Maybe even your kind of outer guide, if you like your spirit guide, somebody who's there to kind of help you learn, teach you. And I feel that you're going to be turning to more kind of esoteric kind of interests, maybe tarot cards themselves or astrology, but kind of looking into things on a deeper level than you have done so far to date. And you're going to be walking away, Gemini, from the kind of past here. And kind of the Seven of Cups energy here, if you like. It's like the 7 there, and then you've got the 8. So it's almost like saying, well, you know, I can't find what I'm looking for. Again, it kind of reminds me of this energy here of going down kind of into the past somehow. Again, I get the feeling of going down into the past, of looking into your past. Maybe that's what this Hermit card is also saying here, that your past is what holds the key. You'll find the answers after you walk away from whatever is holding you back here. These kind of emotional situations, or this kind of feeling of not wanting to upset other people. That if you do this, it's wrong and it's going to upset other people, and you're kind of walking away from that now. You're kind of saying, well, that's not working for me. I can't keep everybody happy here. I just can't do it because it's not keeping me happy. The only person that's unhappy in all of this is me. And it's like you're kind of waking up to that, Gemini. You're kind of becoming aware of that kind of deeper unhappiness, that deeper what's the word I'm looking for here? Deeper. I keep getting the word mystery coming into my head, like deeper mystery, mystery of life. Looking for the mystery of life, maybe. So those are the energies for you that are moving away from you as everything else changes. And you have here moving in the Knight of Swords, which is literally the card of Gemini. This is the twins. This is the Dioscuri. Very mercurial, very quick thinking, very fast moving, very active energy. And this is saying to me that there is going to be something that is just going to happen. You're just going to go and it's going to click and you're just going to suddenly move ahead. And it's like nothing is going to stop you. Nothing is going to stop you. You're just going to, it's almost like, for me, it feels like a eureka moment. Like something suddenly just kind of fits into place and you're just like, aha. But you could also find that you will be moving around a lot as well, Gemini. I get the feeling that somehow you could be, some of you could be kind of traveling around a lot as well. Doing a lot of kind of movement, a lot of going from one place to another, town to town. I don't know what that's about. Maybe it's searching for things. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe that's what you're going to be doing, is kind of... I'm kind of getting this idea of kind of a historic kind of journey, almost like not a holiday as such, but something that you've kind of decided you're going to go and search something out, and it leads to something else, which leads to something else. So you've kind of got your mind set on one thing, but then when you get there, you kind of discover something else, and it kind of sends you off somewhere else as well. So you could find, it's not for all of you Geminis, but it could be for some of you out there. Because the energy that it's come out with here is a feeling for me that you've been stuck, very much stuck in your past. Very much Three of Earth here is kind of saying, she always to me looks like a statue, and there she is kind of looking, trying to see what's coming in her future. She's got her hand up to her eyes and she's kind of saying, well, what's coming in? What is it? What can I see on the horizon? But she's been there for so long that she's almost taken root. She's almost become like this statue, almost like a tree in some ways. But she's very much kind of blended into the background. And so, but it's just come out in reverse. So for me, it's kind of saying, again, because it's in reverse, I always think of reverse cards as being things that are long lasting, things that have been around for a long time, things that need to be kind of resolved. So I get the feeling that this is what's being resolved, this kind of energy of you being stuck in this same place for so long now, that it's almost like with this, you're kind of just saying, right, that's it, I'm off. I'm going to kind of find what I'm looking for, and I'm not going to find it by just standing in this place, this one place, which is how you're kind of feeling. It's almost like you've been there kind of waiting for these kind of answers to come to you, and now you're kind of realizing that you've actually got to go out and look for it. You've got to make the move. And it's also come out with the the Page of Fire in reverse, which looks to me like it's got a full moon in this card as well. It could also talk about kind of other lands, other places. Because whenever I look at this card, it kind of looks to me as though it's like on a different a different planet. And I'm not saying that kind of you're going to go off planet or anything like that, Gemini, but what I'm kind of saying is that this could be something, it's like stepping into a world that you haven't been in before. And there's this tiger down here, which I kind of see as protection. But I'm also kind of seeing it today almost like a part of herself. I've not kind of got this before, Gemini, but I'm kind of seeing this tiger down here because it's a white tiger as well with purple stripes. Again, it's almost like it's unique, it's kind of fanciful, it's kind of rare, unusual. And I get the feeling that this is kind of yourself. That there's something about this, Gemini, today that is saying to me that this is you. This is what you haven't recognized in you, is your uniqueness. This energy, all of this energy, all of this wonderful stuff here that you're kind of beginning to, I feel, kind of take on board a lot more and actually feel as though a little bit more comfortable with it, even though it's in reverse here. And it's in reverse, I feel, because you are kind of just again, it's been around for a long time, but you're just kind of coming to terms with it. This is in the future. This is what is coming in. It's kind of the backstory as well to this energy here. So that's what I'm picking up with this tiger today. And also kind of, if you look at her here, she's kind of quite unique as well. Almost like she's kind of just materialized in that spot. That's the kind of energy I'm getting. She's kind of just materialized. But also she's got this fan here as well. And she's kind of not quite covering her face. So she's not, almost like she's no longer kind of, it's almost like she's peeking out from the side of it and no longer kind of scared or intimidated or worried about kind of showing that side of herself. But this tiger for me is probably the most relevant here, and it is saying to me, you know, that this is your uniqueness, Gemini, that you have to kind of bring out. And you also have the Nine of Air, because all of these cards came out together. So the Nine of Air, I'm just going to put that down there. So we've got these two here. Is usually about kind of the fear and the nightmares and things kind of getting to a point where it's so bad that you can't sleep and you're really stressed and you're really worried. But I always feel with this card that it's much more about you kind of finding a balance within yourself. Although I kind of feel that it is a precarious situation, there is great poise in this card and also focus. But all of this here today, I'm kind of feeling that this is something to do with like a circle of people. A circle of people, maybe friends, circle of friends, or like-minded people. They're kind of like-minded. They all kind of have the same understanding of life, and it's like you're kind of coming together with these people, and they're kind of saying to you, it's okay, we've all been there, we've been in that place, and it's okay for you to feel like that and to think like that and to kind of just start opening your wings, if you like, and just kind of beginning to find your balance in it all. And I just get really strongly through this whole reading, Gemini, I'm just getting this really strong kind of psychic vibe about this kind of feeling of opening yourself up to that realm and allowing yourself to do that, allowing yourself to accept this as who you are. But this is really who you are, as opposed to the kind of restrictions and the kind of, I always see this as kind of much darker kind of energy. It's kind of, if you look at the difference here between, this is kind of very light and almost like a freedom in this card. I feel like a freedom, whereas in this card it's all very kind of heavy energy, kind of holding you down, restricting you, bringing you back, chaining you in, kind of caging you, not allowing you to explore who you are, not allowing you to kind of find that side of yourself. Whereas this is much more light and free and kind of a final kind of recognition somehow of you. And it's also come out with the Four of Water, which usually the Four of Water or the Four of Cups displays a situation in most tarot cards of kind of a feeling of despair and sorrow and kind of a relationship that's like no longer in a good place, shall we say. But for me, this is kind of, I almost feel like this is your invitation to the psychic realm, to the kind of, it's like somebody's got this crystal ball and they're like holding it out. If you see here, she's got this pearl in her hand here and she's kind of offering it almost and saying, this is how it really is. This is how it really is compared to what you believe it to be. But you have to kind of come and you have to come into our world in the sense of like, this is your choice. This has to be your choice. We cannot force you to do this. Nobody can force you to do this. You have to make that move yourself. But I also get the feeling that this is kind of the inner, your higher self, your higher guide, your higher self that is offering this to you. And the last card it came out with is the Queen of Wands, which is this fiery, passionate, visionary woman, very creative. And I get the feeling that this is about your creativity finally being allowed, Gemini, to kind of show itself, in the sense of, because with this Page of Fire here, it is very creative energy, but it's a creative energy that needs to be kind of put into something, needs to be nurtured, because it's a page, it's a childlike energy, it's an energy that's, I get the feeling it's an energy that's always been there inside you, but you've not ever been able to really bring it into the front, into the forefront. And for some reason, when I saw these two cards together, it was almost like I felt that when you look into this crystal ball, if you choose to do so, Gemini, which I get a strong feeling, you're going to kind of this, how can I put it? How can I put it so that you can understand what I'm trying to say here? Almost like this is your higher self here. And when you look into this crystal ball, you're going to see a reflection of yourself, but as your higher self. If that makes any sense. I don't know if you're going to understand that, Gemini, or not. So what I'm trying to say here is that this energy here, this mermaid, as she is a mermaid, is your higher self. It doesn't have to be a mermaid. And it doesn't have to be a female either. When I talk about her and him, it's not the genders that I'm talking about so much as the energies that are involved. So these are kind of quite intuitive, feminine energies that are coming through, but it doesn't have to just be for a female. This can also be for you male Geminis out there as well, you masculine men Geminis. this could just be the energy. You could also be going through this same experience. And I would just say as well that it may be harder to do so as a man than it is for a woman, because this kind of energy has always been seen as being a very kind of feminine energy, hence the whole kind of witch thing as well that happened in the past, which could also have something to do with this as well. The kind of witch devil, you know, you're working with dark energies, blah blah blah, that kind of thing, that kind of belief, that kind of old kind of patriarchal controlling system that wiped out thousands of women because of it. So back to this here, just saying that as a man, you could find it a lot harder to have been able to accept this side of yourself as well, because it is kind of seen more as a feminine energy. So it's almost what you're going to be seeing when you look into this crystal ball is your higher self looking back at your higher self. And you're going to kind of realise that that higher self is actually you. I think that's a better way to explain it. I don't know if I explained it the same way before, Gemini. But that's kind of what I'm getting here. It's almost like this recognition of this higher energy that has always been there and has always been, I get the feeling, kind of trying to get your attention. And maybe now finally they have. Finally they've managed to get you to kind of look within enough to see what's there. And it's your higher self. And your higher self is this wonderful, creative, incredibly visionary Queen of Wands energy. And she is very driven by her passions and her creativity and her desires and she has the ability to kind of manifest things in a way because of her connection. It's going to bring you to that place. It's going to bring you to this place where you're going to have this kind of ability to be able to manifest very easily, very quickly. It's a very Leo energy in the sense of it being very driven. It's also very protective. There's a protectiveness about this. And again, I get this kind of feeling of like, you know, you've got the lioness there and you've got this tiger here as well. So I don't know if it's got anything to do with cats, but cats are also very kind of intuitive and very not intuitive and what's the word I'm looking for? Instinctual, and they kind of go with their own instinctual nature. It's like they know. Cats know. They just have this knowing. Their ears go up. They know. They just know. And I get the feeling that that's kind of what this energy is about, that you are really kind of finally coming into your own energy of knowing and trusting that energy of knowing as well. Like really, because she's sitting very strongly in this throne, which kind of says to me, you're finally coming into your power here, Gemini. And I know it's not an air energy, and I know it's a fire energy, but it's almost like it's kind of igniting that passion and that drive within you, which is where I feel this Knight of Swords is going to come in, because it's going to kind of really move things forward for you. Really kind of move your whole life forward in a way that you weren't expecting as well, I feel. So going back to this Page of Pentacles at the very beginning of you kind of planting your little seeds here for your future. And getting in contact with your own intuition, your own instinctual knowing, and kind of really accepting that as who you are as well as just being a physical being, shall we say, who thinks and has to kind of be logical, but kind of not to the point of being just robotic or repeating things, or kind of like, you know, it's like there's another world, another realm. And this is what I get the feeling of. This somehow is also this. This energy here is this energy here. So this is your higher self here, pulling you forward. Pulling you forward. You've got it twice. So somehow it's kind of saying to me, you can't avoid this any longer. You can't ignore it any longer. It's just going to get stronger and stronger within you until you finally realise that you've got to kind of do something about it. You've got to take this on board, Gemini. You've got to recognise it as a part of yourself and allow it to be. So we also have 2 cards from the Namaste Blessing card, which for yourselves, Gemini, being the twins and being kind of one thing and another thing, which kind of, or seeing things from both sides, shall we say, having the ability to see things from both sides. These are the cards that you've got here. And just take my glass off so I can read it quickly. This one is the Blessing of Acceptance, which it says, every part of you is equally worthy of love. Accept yourself as you are, and this will be a blessing unto yourself and others. If you wish to see the truth of the matter, hold no preference, either for or against a particular outcome. Just be the love that you truly are. And then you got this one, the Blessing of Questioning, which says, examine and identify any belief that stems from an irrational fear. Irrational fear. Ask yourself, do I still need this? If the answer is no, then replace it with a trusting, more loving belief. Blessings flow to you as soon as you do this. Set yourself free. So I thought they were interesting because in some way they kind of contradict each other, but yet at the same time, being a Gemini, like I said, seeing things from both sides, which you have the ability to do, it kind of makes sense that you should have cards that kind of, like one of them just says acceptance and the other one says question. So it kind of makes me think, well, that's very Gemini energy. And your Deva crystal card today, Geminis, is the Rhodochrosite, the card of self-worth, which is kind of summing up your reading, actually. I feel it's all about your self-worth and your kind of ability to accept yourself as you are rather than how other people believe you should be. So I will quickly read this. The chakra is the heart chakra, the heart energy, which is this energy here, because this queen is all about the heart, all about the emotions, all about coming from the heart energy. And her colour, or the colour of this, is pink. Beautiful kind of pinky coral pink, it looks like to me. So it says, you have been given life because you have special gifts to contribute to the world. Your real worth is not dependent upon how much you earn. Well, what can you say? What you wear or how you look. Your value lies in your unique individuality. Let me just find it. Here we go. Your unique individuality. That white tiger down there. Your uniqueness. It does not matter whether others see your talents. You may not even recognize them yourself. Your talents were given to you by the Creator. Your gifts are so special that you have been created as an individual entity to accommodate them. They differentiate you from all other beings. You may think that you serve no purpose here. this is not true. Without you, the universe is incomplete and could not function in proper order. You may not know your purpose, but you have one. Continue to look inside your heart and you will discover why you are here. That's possibly also to do with this energy here as well. The heart key to your heart. Your worth also has nothing to do with others' opinions of you. Realizing this is the first step to self-love. When you let go of the judgments others have forced upon you, you will begin to recognize your worthiness. As long as you agree with and perpetuate any judgments that find you lacking, you cannot love yourself. Again, coming back to this card here. Self-love cannot exist with self-depreciation. I'll read that bit again, sorry. Self-love cannot exist with self-deprecation. Many of you have been told cruel things about yourself, that you were stupid, ugly, or worthless. These words were spoken by those who have lost touch with their souls. They were perpetuating the hurt that they had felt in their own life. Consequently, they could not allow themselves to see your beautiful and special light. When humans are in pain, they strike out. The critical thing to remember is that their anger probably has nothing to do with you. Others' reactions towards you have to do with them, not you. Unfortunately, you just happened to be nearby when a wounded person attacked. As you begin to love yourself, free of judgment, healing will occur. You will mend the injuries you have suffered from the thoughtlessness of others. As you welcome yourself home, you will feel the connectedness to all other beings and love them free of judgment as well. A new strength will empower you to move forward with kindness to others and to yourself. And I feel this is the card that is saying, welcome yourself home. You cannot truly love others until you love yourself. This is the responsibility and challenge we place before you, to recognize the perfect being that dwells within. Why have you drawn the Rhodochrosite card today? Our pink essence blends with the heart chakra to help you realize how lovable and worthwhile you are. Perhaps this is a time when you are unable to see your beautiful soul and recognize your value. Maybe you have gotten yourself into a romantic relationship or job situation where you are being taken for granted or treated abusively. Once you truly appreciate the beautiful creature that you are, you will be reluctant to enter into or remain in any circumstances that are unhealthy or destructive. Learn to say no. Do not let others hurt you. Do not hurt yourself. You deserve the most respectful treatment. Take care of yourself. You take care of others, your children, your parents, your spouse. But what about you? You often put yourself last. What message does this send about how you value yourself? Which is also what we were talking about earlier. If I can find it with the Page of Cups here and the value. What is the value? He's holding this coin over his heart chakra here. We encourage you to put yourself first. That may sound selfish to you. Are we suggesting that you neglect someone else to take care of yourself? Of course not. However, if you do not honour yourself and your needs, how will you have the emotional or physical energy to help others? So that's where I'm going to leave that particular reading for you, Geminis. And just remind you that this is Rhodochrosite. You may want to get yourself a piece of this, carry it around with you, wear it, put it in your pocket, sleep with it, hold on to it, meditate with it, take it in your bath, in your shower, wherever you feel like taking it. Just carry it with you for a while, because this could well help you to kind of find that that energy that you need in order to push forward with things as well. So I hope this reading has been of some help to you, Geminis. Please, if you have liked this reading, can you like it up for me? Could you also subscribe to my channel if you haven't subscribed already? Also, welcome to anybody who has subscribed. I should have said that at the beginning of my reading, but I kind of get a little bit caught up in the actual message and just kind of want to start it sometimes. Also, tap the bell so you can receive other readings as and when I put them out. And for anybody who hasn't checked out my channel, there are plenty of other videos that I've put on there already. I also do new moon and full moon readings. I will be doing full moon reading hopefully tomorrow. And also I do kind of major events as well, like big conjunctions and things. Like we just had the Saturn-Pluto one in January on the 12th, and so I did a reading for that as well, and I do them as a collective reading, and I also do a little bit of astrology at the beginning as well. For anybody who's interested in watching those videos, they are on my channel and you can find them there. So Gemini, I hope that this has been of some help, as I said, and hopefully I will see you back again soon. Take care.